this offense is awesome. Two of the best players to ever play their respective positions. Somebody's going to get left out of the cold in this offense.
Look at the release.
There's your separation.
Great route.
Stutter and go. Gets by clean.
That is unbelievable.
Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Developed by Stanford engineers, OddsJam can identify odds that make you a winner every single time. Now you're asking yourself, okay, now how do they do this? OddsJam uses real-time data to spot discrepancies between different sports books to help users place risk-free bets. It's called arbitrage. Here's an example. Last week, the run line in a Rangers game was 2.5. If you bet both the over and the under at different sites that have different odds, it doesn't matter what the results are. If you place the right mathematical bet, you make money. Simple as that. Arbitrage requires no knowledge of sports. It's great, but it's not just arbitrage. If you want to shop for the best odds, OddsJam can do that too. For example, let's say you love the Packers money line. OddsJam will help you find the best odds for the most profitable returns. OddsJam has other tools and calculators too to help you make some of the best bets possible. Go check them out. Go check them out right now. Go to oddsjam.com. How about in Tampa Bay, though? It is just a wide receiver roulette. I mean, Antonio Brown looked like the dominant number one, like every week starter. You got to start Antonio Brown every single week, so long as he's playing with Tom Brady. And then week 2, an absolute disappearance act, right? Like one catch for 17 yards. And then it was the Mike Evans game, right? 9 targets, led the receivers, 5 catches, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of this Tampa Bay wide receiver room, but I thought, Matt, that it was Antonio Brown, and then maybe we were going to kind of sort of figure out between Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. It just, maybe that's not the case.
Here's the overall take, though, is you've got to ride this ride. You've got to spin the wheel. You've got to play this roulette game because this offense is awesome, right?
It's too good.
Tom Brady has 9 touchdowns through 2 weeks. 9 touchdowns through 2 weeks. That's awesome. Like, that's electric.
It's craziness.
Stuff. You have to continue to be invested in this offense, even if you're going to get down weeks from some of these guys, because it's just too good to pass up. It's probably one of the best, if not the best, passing ecosystem in the NFL. Like, we talk about it as like, oh, yeah, Tampa Bay's got good players on offense. Hold on a second. Number one, they've got 2 of the best players to ever play their respective positions in Chris Godwin. No, I'm just kidding. In Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski, right? Like, they might not be at their peak, but shoot, they don't look too far off right now. You know, Gronk looks like he's making a case that every employer should allow an employee to just take a year away. Take a year away, come back better than ever. Gronk playing better than ever. We've got Antonio Brown. Like, he's not peaking Antonio Brown, but again, doesn't look too far off. One of the when he was at his peak, he was one of the 5 best receivers to ever play. So he's pretty close to that greatness. That's pretty good. Then you've got Mike Evans, who's squarely still in his prime, and Chris Godwin, who I think is still ascending. Like, I think Chris Godwin has still yet to hit his prime. That's unbelievable from a 1 to 4. You know, like, that's pretty great. My analysis on these guys is Gronk. He's going to be kind of touchdown or bust, right? I mean, because he's getting decent volume, 13 targets, but he's caught 12 of them. Like, he's not going to be that efficient always. But at this point, at tight end, like, you're probably going to take the chance to start him. I think the most steady guy from the receiver core, which is why I ranked him as such, is Chris Godwin. He leads the team with 88 routes. That's almost 10 higher than the second place with Mike Evans. 19 targets. That is pretty clearly in first place among the team, too. He also gets the short routes. He has just an 8 air yards per target number. That's going to be steady for his consistency. Clear cut the red zone guy too, 5 red zone targets. So like Chris Godwin, it's just, and obviously we know he's the slot guy, 72 routes from the slot. Like, just check, 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 check. Everything you want from a steady guy. I think Chris Godwin brings it. And then that brings us to Mike Evans and Antonio Brown, who I do think will be the most like back and forth. Like, I don't know that if Antonio Brown and Mike Evans are going to have big games, then, you know, Gronk might not have a big game. It might be one of those things where, like, is it a Mike Evans week? Is it an Antonio Brown week? And we kind of have to debate maybe the wide receiver cornerback matchups, you know, that type of stuff. But overall, like, you just got to take the chance, man, because this offense is just too good. Like, you don't want to be the one that benches Mike Evans and he scores 2 touchdowns. You know, you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point. And again, it's like pieces of this pie, man. It's like they're going to be tossing 3 to 5 touchdowns every single week. You got to try to capture some of that pie. Like, however you do it, you got to do it. But it was a disappointing outing for Antonio Brown. That really hurt. That hurt pretty bad. 1 catch for 17. That's tough.
Somebody's going to get left out of the cold in this offense. I think the most likely 2 guys are Brown and Evans, which, I mean, you drafted Antonio Brown as like outside the top 30 receivers. So I really don't want to hear too much complaining about when he has down weeks.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You bought that asset at that price. Like, that's the deal there. With Mike Evans, it's a little tougher to swallow because he was obviously drafted much higher. But yeah, my analysis basically is those 2 guys are going to flip flop. But Chris Godwin's the steady guy, so that's why I ranked him first coming into this year. Maybe I'm wrong about that still, but overall, I think that's kind of the way this is going to go. And the real brass tacks take is just, you better be starting your Bucs because you could easily hate your life if you do not.